Shelby J,
Yes.
welcome to Australian Musician and welcome to Melbourne, Australia.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Very happy.
You've been here before to Melbourne?
I have been here before with Prince in 2012.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. So he
Yeah.
brought me the first time and he told me I would love it, and I did.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back.
Last time I saw you was in January at B.B. King's in New York. With
Yes.
Liv Warfield and
Judith.
Hill.
Playing. And my mama.
And your mum.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I have to say it was one of the most uplifting, joyous gigs I've ever been to.
Thank you.
Did you get a sense that it was a special gig, or is that just
Oh no,
what happens
it was
at all yours?
No, it was special because there's a sisterhood between us, and we had just started kind of doing that. And it's something that Prince wanted us to do. He always wanted us to support each other. And it's just trying to figure out how to best do that because we all have our own projects and our own bands and different things. So Liv was the torchbearer, flag carrier for that. And we used her band and brought in different musicians. One or two of my percussionists, David DiGiantomaso came in, and Judith was there and had some of her people. So it was really like a collective, but it was really great how we all came together to all of our different parts. You know, Liv's got a rock side, and I've got a southern soul side, and a funk. So you mix the soul with the funk and the rock, and then Judith's playing, and there's a soul for her. So it's a good it gives everybody a little bit of something. It's like a smorgasbord.
Yeah.
You know.
What I loved about it, it was billed as Liv's gig. But, it was a real team thing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
wouldn't have known that it was
Yeah,
her gig.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've all learned like from Prince how to be generous with our light. So even when I have a show like tonight, I'll feature my piano player. I'm going to feature my guitarist. You know, it's like that's when it's real. That's when it really gets cooking. When you let people kind of get into their thing,
Yeah.
and you just like he would sit back and watch us. Like I sang more lead on Prince shows than if it was like she's singing another song, but he loved that. Like, go ahead, he was so generous with his light. So we got a lot of that from him.
Yeah.
And you learn from that too.
Yeah, obviously he was a major influence, but before Prince, growing up, who were the big influences for you?
My mom,
Yeah.
my mother, Mamie, was the choir director and started me singing age 3, age 4 in the church. And she played a lot of gospel music. I listened to Mahalia Jackson, and I listened to soul music, Stax and Mavis, and people would say like, because my voice is deeper, and like, oh, you got a voice like Mavis, and I always had a deep voice, even when I was like 7, 8 years old, like walking around like, how you doing? But Donny Hathaway, and even his daughter Layla, who's amazing. Ella Fitzgerald is my number one. So I listened to everything, and my musical influences were vast. I listened to country and gospel and rock and soul, just good. And I knew what I liked, and I was never told or taught that I couldn't listen to anything because of who made it, or because of what they look like, or because of what I look like. It's like there's two types of music, good and bad, period. And so I could listen to Shania Twain, or I could listen to Gladys Knight, or I could, my earrings. Click, 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 click. Thank you, Teresa.
The debut album is just out.
Yes.
It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time coming, but it's here.
So do the songs go back a fair way, or are they fairly recent?
Some of them are fairly recent. I went through some life changes, and Prince wanted me to write about it. And that was a lot of the delay. We put out my single, North Carolina, in 2012. And ideally, my album was going to be coming right behind that, say like May of 2013. And I went through a divorce. And a lot of people didn't know about it because I didn't talk about it. But I had to readjust and kind of get my life back together. And when something like that happens to you, nobody can really prepare you for having to process that and deal with that. And you're in the middle of trying to finish an album and plan a tour. It's like, it was just not a priority. And Prince is like, handle your life, write. And I wrote so much And a lot of what I wrote is now on this album, 10. And a lot of the songs that I had written are not as good as what I got on this album, because it was a lot of pain, a lot of growth, a lot of heartache, a lot of joy. I mean, there are pages in the in my journal when I was writing that they're tear stains on them, you know. And Prince was like, just put it all in your writing. And I said, but I don't feel like recording, because I didn't feel like singing. But he goes, you will, but just write. And I wrote a lot. And so you can hear a lot of those stories about going through something. You know, you're in it, and my mother said you're going to come out on the other side. You just have to get through it. You have to work through it and come out on the other side. And a lot of the songs on the album I wrote during that season of my life. You know, few are from before, but many of them are from that season. So yeah, because that was my truth. So I had to sing about where I was and what I was dealing with. You know, I couldn't sing happy joy songs when I didn't feel happy joy. I wasn't writing happy joy songs, but so it's a little mix of both. But it's a lot of those songs came from that season.
Yeah. You've called the album 10.
10.
Why?
Well, 10 is my favorite number. And I was born on the 10th day. My father was born on the 10th day.
So was I.
And really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. Give me some.
Good for me.
Yeah. And well, happy belated, I guess. And well, I was with Prince 10 years. And when I kept seeing that number pop up in my life, and when I was trying to think of what I wanted to name the album, I talked with my manager, Monica, and we were just, really thinking about what I wanted this album to be and what it meant to me. And when I listened to the songs on the album, and we just kept coming back to 10. And I had 10 songs, and it's, a few interludes, but all my albums will always have 10 songs. That's my number. So that's it. 10 is my number. Like Prince's number was 7, my number's 10. Yeah. So yeah.
What I love about the album is how you mix it up. There's some upbeat funk soul numbers. There's some mellow stuff.
Yeah.
There's a track called Run, which has a beautiful acoustic guitar backing.
Yeah, Carter McLean, who is my drummer with my band Black Gypsy that I did a record with in 2003, pre-Prince. And it's out. People can get that. It's on iTunes. And it's Black Gypsy Volume 1. And Carter was my drummer, but we always would write together. And we just really got on when we would get together. And I went up to his home in Connecticut, and we just sat out back in the grass. I'm a country girl, so I love writing like that. And we just broke bread together and spent time together. And I was up there for about 3 days. And when I left, we had that song. We had some great wine, great food, great conversation. And we just wrote that song and recorded it right there at his house in the studio, yeah.
Another great song on the album, and one that you did in New York when I saw you, was Who Are You?
Oh, Who You Are.
Who You Are,
Who You
sorry.
Are. Oh, it's okay.
And I remember you coming close to the stage and talking, singing into people's eyes. And even my son, I had my 16-year-old son there, and he was very empowered by that song on the night.
Thank you. That means a lot to me, because, we live in a world where, people try to sometimes convince you that you're not enough. And if you hear it enough, you'll believe it. And it's so important to love who you are. You can work on yourself and try to be the best you can be, but to just love who you are and accept yourself for who you are. And just, if you got something to fix it. But you don't have to be like this person or look like this person, or you have your gifts and your talents and your skills and your things. So embrace that, and if you embrace it, man, the things you can do. So that song means a lot to me, because it took me a while, to learn that and to really believe it. When I wrote that song, I did it with my friend Jonathan Hanson, John Solo, and Probe Rocket out of New York, great producers, Spy Music. We write together, and it was just really special. But I wanted it to be like an anthem of empowerment for people.
Yeah, another great song, and probably the most contagious song on the album, Superpower.
Superpower. Thank you, Phil Lassiter, as MPG Horns. He produced that and wrote that, and with a young lady from Nashville. And he brought it to me. He said, Shelby, I got a song for you. Yeah. I said, okay. So he came to North Carolina and stayed at my mama's house and ate our food and everything. And I said, okay. I said, Mama said, I like that song. We went and we cut the record, and it's being very well received. People really like that song, and I love it. So I'm very thankful that he brought that song into my life.
Yeah, I believe you played the completed album to Prince.
I did. I played about, I want to say about 75 to 80% of it to him, and he was giving me his feedback on different things, because I would play him songs just when I would finish them. I'd be, do the vocals in North Carolina and whatever, and I would either email them to him, or when I was up there, I'd be like, listen to this. I'd have it on a CD, and he would always give me his feedback. As something simple as like, I Am Yours. I played it for him. He goes, there was a lyric in it, and I said, they say a perfect man is hard to find. And he said, why don't you say love? If you say love, then a guy can sing it, I can sing it, you can sing it, and I was like, oh, because I always write from my perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm writing about a man, and that actual song was about my wedding day of all things. So it took me a minute to even want to record that song, I was like, I don't want to sing that song, but it was a beautiful song. And I said, if somebody, he said, that's a wedding song. He was like, that's your 1 in a million. That's your Larry Graham 1 in a million, always and forever. So he really loved that song. But he would just give me his feedback, and honest. And if something, if he didn't like something, or if he was like, I don't know about this, he was just very honest, brutally honest sometimes. And but it would always be to help me and to make my music better, and to help me see things from a different point of view. And he helped me really learn how to open my mind to that, and to take it as constructive criticism from someone who only wants me to be the best, Yeah.
The song North Carolina, you co-wrote with him.
Yeah, we co-wrote with, and he played every instrument on that too.
And
he
I believe
produced
that
it.
was going to be on your debut album if it had come out.
It was, but everything kind of just took a turn, I guess, and yeah, with that. But now it's like a single. Everybody, they can still get that as well. But it just now it exists, and I'm kind of glad, because it was a special thing that we did together at Paisley. And Prince doesn't have a lot of co-writes. If you look at his catalog, he's got a gazillion songs, but he really doesn't have a lot of co-writes. So I'm very thankful and grateful that we have that song together forever, that we wrote and did together. And so yeah.
Prince was such a mentor to so many musicians, but the world didn't know a lot about that. There's a guy in Melbourne, Hearts. Do you know Hearts? Darren Hart?
I don't know him.
Prince was involved with his album and invited him, saw him on YouTube, invited him out to Paisley
That
Park.
sounds like him.
Yeah, and Hearts, if you hear him, he sounds a little bit like Prince.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very protective of, like, he would help people, but didn't necessarily want people to know that, did he?
Yeah, not always. He was very, and even with a lot of things he would do, helping with music, helping with charities, helping with it wasn't important for him to have the light, shining on him.
Yeah.
He wanted it shining on either the person he was helping, or the charity he was helping, or the school he was helping. He was very selfless.
Yeah.
Very, very selfless. Yeah. And in entertainment, that's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Prince gave you a lot, but if you had to pick one thing that you learned from knowing Prince that really stays with you, what would that be?
Oh, wow. One thing I would say, believing in myself, and he believed in me more than I believed in me.
Right.
And so when you have someone like that who's like, you got it, and you need to trust it. So I learned to trust myself. I really learned to trust myself, and to trust what I was feeling and writing, and the music that would come to me in my dreams, and that what I would hear in my head. And I learned to not disregard that. I learned to really trust it, embrace it, and finish those songs and finish all that stuff, and just to be fearless and not have to, don't look for permission. You don't have to do any of that. It's like, you know your dream, you know what you want to do, go do it, and believe that you can, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't, because you're the boss, applesauce. And so it's like, so it's like, you're the boss, and so go ahead and do what you want to do. You can do anything you want to do, anything you want to do. And yeah, so, and I still hear him telling me that even when I doubt myself. You know, we're human, and I'm like, I hear him like, nope, you got this, Shell. You can do this. You've worked, and you've trained, and you've learned, and you've studied. You got this. You can do this. Yeah. So yeah.
You've got a show to do. We've got to let you do
I know. I got to get dressed.
One more thing. What's on for the rest of the year?
Wow, touring. I want to tour everywhere. I said I was going to call my tour the Everywhere Tour. Yeah. I want to play, now that the record's done, since that took so long to do, now I just want to play everywhere that will have me. Every festival, every country, every city, every continent. I just want to go play music, man, and have fun with my friends and jam and meet people and meet other musicians and invite them to jam and just, you know, just to keep it going. I just want to play my music and live this dream of mine. That's it.
Shelby J, thanks for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And sorry about my jewelry. I got some noisy jewelry, no?
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.